Hi, this is Captain Erik Scott with the Los Angeles Fire Department, and we're here to talk briefly about homeless encampments and the role that the Los Angeles Fire Department has. We've been asked several questions. Here are 6 of them and 6 answers. The first question was, can you describe the kinds of fire incidents that the LAFD has been dealing with at homeless encampments? Well, those are predominantly warming fires or cooking fires that we have seen. Likely the most significant fire in recent past was the Skirball fire in December of 2017. If you remember, that burned over 400 acres. It destroyed 6 homes and damaged 12 others. And it was determined that the cause of that was an illegal cooking fire at a homeless encampment in that area. And because of that, Fire Chief Terrazas organized all fire stations in those brush areas to conduct a windshield survey and to document the existence of homeless encampments in what we call the Very High Fire Hazard Severity Zone, or basically the brush area of Los Angeles. And then our steps were basically twofold: to identify those locations and then notify the property owners of the encampment at that location for further action and any other agencies that would be involved. Now, the second of the 6 popular questions we got was, what are the potential fire hazards the LAFD has seen at these encampments? Well, just kind of like we mentioned before, the potential fire hazards at these encampments are often those warming fires. You'll see those during the winter months or on cold nights, or these cooking fires from homeless that are eating food, or trying to heat the food rather. And what we'll see sometimes is the flames from these fires then can spread into the brush in the wildland area, or if a homeless encampment or tent is against a building, it can creep up into the eaves of that building and spread into that area as well. Or actually, we've seen them inside of a vacant building where homeless individuals have been inside of. So those are some of the areas that we have seen those fires, and certainly the potential fire hazard significantly increases on high wind days, which then obviously can rapidly spread those flames. Now, the third question is, what is the biggest concern about fires in Skid Row? Well, the fires in tents, really where the homeless are sleeping, where they could be injured or they could die. And then, as we mentioned too, any fires that are up against a building that can then spread into the structure. So because of those concerns, Fire Chief Terrazas recently walked the Skid Row area with representatives from 2 business improvement districts, and they discussed their concerns about those encampments. And also, it's important to note that we have our own downtown-based fast response vehicle. It's on duty 6 days a week, which is more than it was before. It's kind of one of those quad cab pickups, but it has 2 functions. You can have a 300-gallon water tank, so it could quickly extinguish those small tent fires before they get big. And then it has a medical component because firefighter paramedics are on it, so they can provide advanced life support. Now, the second unique apparatus that we have in the Skid Row area is the SOBER unit, or it's the Sobriety Emergency Response Unit. And we use that to address some of the more chronic issues that are faced by people living in the streets. And so this was implemented as part of the fire department's continuing efforts to meet the challenges of our increasing medical calls and the increasing number of homeless individuals. So that one's actually staffed by a firefighter paramedic, a homeless service worker, and also a nurse practitioner. And we work real close with the Department of the DHS in that area to assist. And the benefit is that we can then bring publicly intoxicated patients to that new sober center, which is in Skid Row, rather than just transporting them to an emergency department. And often it's those serial inebriates that tend to light the fires. And so we want to get them the definitive care so they could get proper help. Now, the fourth question was, the LAFD has taken steps since the beginning of the year to tackle the issue of homeless encampment fires. And can we describe what the department has been doing to lessen the risk? To start off, it's important to state that homelessness is a citywide issue. And the LAFD is working close with our city and our county partners to address really both the fire and the medical component to this in both the brush and in the urban environments. So in brush areas, immediately following the Skirball fire, that's when our department conducted that windshield survey to document those encampments and forwarded those results to the Fire Prevention Bureau, who then can notify the owners and any other parties involved. And then again in the urban area, that's why we had Fire Chief Terrazas. He proactively went out there and talked to the business improvement districts, and we put those FRVs and sober units, specialized resources in those areas to combat those issues. And the fifth question is, what's the potential danger when homeless individuals cook with open flames inside tents? Well, two major concerns really. One is going to be the fire hazard, and the second is toxic gases. So if you're going to use an open flame to cook in any enclosed space, especially in tight quarters like a tent, that can easily catch that tent on fire or any of the belongings inside. We know a lot of the homeless will hold on to their belongings very dearly, and so that flame can quickly spread. And then there's also an additional risk of exposing the occupants in that tent to the toxic smoke and gases that can actually cause asphyxiation. So whatever they're using to cook, whether it's wood, charcoal, propane, if it doesn't burn completely, we all know that gives off carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide can displace the oxygen inside our body, of which then can kill you. That's why we call it the silent killer. And then the final question is that we've heard about fires erupting inside abandoned buildings where transients have taken up residence. If neighbors see new encampments in their neighborhoods, whether inside the buildings or tents on the street, and they see that fires are being lit, is there anything they can do? And we felt that was a good question, and the answer is yes. If neighbors see an illegal fire being lit, they can contact 911. Make sure you tell that firefighter dispatcher what the location is, what you're seeing, and they will then dispatch the appropriate resources to mitigate that problem. Now, if anyone in the area has just a general concern about homelessness and in an abandoned building nearby, or maybe in a new encampment that they see in their neighborhood, we encourage them to contact their local police station. Inform them of the location, the concern, and be guided by their direction, and they will enforce trespassing. So we hope that helped, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. We wish you a safe day.